Team asks, have you heard of Wireless Philadelphia? What do you think about the idea of giving internet access to Philadelphia citizens?
I applaud the street administration for coming up with that initiative. I think that's moving in the right direction. Someone asked me the question about the importance of technology. I think that we can help, again, try to close the digital divide. I think we live in a day and age where it is extremely important that people have access to information, and the internet is the most important element that we have available. I mentioned earlier about the part about having laptops in every school, or having, I talked about school modernization in terms of smart boards, things of that nature that we need to have. We need to have that available because it is through the power of information that we will empower our citizens to take advantage of the opportunities that are available to them.
Allie asks, Fairmount Park is a tremendously underutilized and underfunded city asset. How would you improve it?
Well, that's been an issue for a little while in terms of the city, and I think that the one person, and I'm not being definitive at this particular point, I know Councilman Darrell Clark has been talking about the idea of do we have a potential merger of Fairmount Park and the Recreation Center. I'm not saying that that's the direction we should go. I'm saying that there's no question we got to figure out how we use that asset a lot more effectively. I question today if the way things are structured with the Fairmount Park Board and the way that the appointment process is conducted is that the best way. I think that process should be far more open in terms of how Fairmount Park commissioners are selected. It shouldn't be, again, in the back room. So I think obviously the governance aspect is one aspect. The other aspect of it is there's no question that we have to have, that's a natural asset that is extremely important to the quality of life of this city. I don't know, obviously when you begin to look at the city's budget and the budget shrinking in terms of the choices that we have available, do we have a way to finance those kinds of initiatives? So I am open for ideas. If you have some ideas and thoughts, I'm open for ideas and thoughts in terms of what ways to deal with the use of that natural, very important asset that we have available to the city. So, for a long time it's been declining. I know that the William Penn Foundation many years ago had put up money for the purpose of, kind of having sort of like park rangers that they had people give information. But that was a great idea that the William Penn Foundation did, but when the money ran out, the reality of the government wasn't able to pick up that responsibility. So the question is, do we look at other ways of generating revenue? I know at the state level, they did something called the Keystone Initiative for the purposes of the parks. It's something that we may look at. I'm not saying that's the way we go, but I'm open for your ideas and your thoughts.
Ayana asks, for those who feel you should remain as state rep and chair of appropriations, what do you say to them to reassure Philadelphia won't lose out on any future funding?
Well, Yana, thank you for asking that question. That's a question that is constantly asked of me over and over again. And I just want to be clear why I decided to make the decision to run. I've done a lot of things over the years. I've tried to put economic policy in place. I've tried to put education policy in place. I've tried to put public safety in place. And I've just come to the conclusion that in spite of all the things I've tried to do, that those things are just not enough. As a result of those things not being enough, I believe that I have the best set of skills necessary at this point to help lead this city in the 21st century. With the knowledge base that I have of 26, 27 years of being in the legislature, dealing with a lot of different relationships around the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I believe I can help bring that knowledge to help move this city forward, to help make sure that this government is open, to help make sure this government is transparent, to help make sure that young people are involved and they have a sense of hope and optimism. As I said earlier, all of the people who are running are nice, decent people, but are they qualified to lead? I think that the leadership skill that I would bring at this moment in the city of Philadelphia would take it to another level, truly make it the next great American city. And it is going to come down to the question about the kind of leadership that we have. There's nobody running in the race who has the extent of experience that I have, 26 years, 17 years as chairman of the Appropriation Committee, and who has led on these issues, education, economic development, public safety, neighborhood development, all of these things. And I believe if you give me the opportunity, you will not be disappointed. And that's why I'm asking you for your support. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing here today. I'm taking my case house by house, block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood, community by community. And I'm saying to people that I'm the only one in the race who will be truly the people's mayor participating. So even though I disagree with councilmen involved in our political process, you know, a democracy is the greatest form of government in my view in the world. It's about self-governing. And we need to give an opportunity that everybody's participating. So even though I disagree with Councilman Kenny on his timing, I do strongly believe there needs to be a discussion about how we conduct our governing process. So I introduced the bill. It passed the House last year to give the city authority. It died in the Senate. I reintroduced that bill. And we should not have these decisions being made by lawyers or judges in terms of what we do with our electoral process. So I want to make it very clear. I do not support Councilman Jim Kenny's initiatives that he's attempting to do.
Michelle, Marty too asks, educational changes are key to improving our schools. We can close failing charter schools. What will you do about failing regular school district schools?
Well, I think you raise a good point. I think the same kind of policy that is conducted for charter schools should be conducted for, quote unquote, what you call traditional schools. I mean, charter schools are public schools first. So I think the standard should be the same. I think the standard in terms of how we conduct charter schools should be with the district. If a school does not work, parents should have the option of moving their schools out. You know, people who have power and money can either move out of the city of Philadelphia or they can manipulate some way to get their kid out of a school that's not functioning. I believe that working class families should have those options available to them. And I think we need to get away from this argument of charters versus traditional schools. Look, they're all about educating our kids. You know, my theory is a simple theory. If we give parents a choice, we give children a chance. I think that is something that we need to be focusing on.